This is controversial. Not necessarily something I want to talk about a whole lot, but we have a need to talk about it a whole lot.
Okay.
All this racist stuff that's been going on in Texas, a whole lot of Texas racism has been going on the last couple weeks, and I feel like it's upon us to really we got to talk about it. For those who don't know, there's been a hash of just extra crazy white supremacists, black supremacists, racism going on in Texas. Almost to the point where the state is like segregated. Where it's like if you're walking down the street, you can get shot because of the color of your skin.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Whether you're white or you're black.
Right.
It all started with a police brutality case. I don't know all the details. I don't know if it actually happened or if it didn't. I don't know if cops actually got in trouble or if they didn't. I don't know the details on that. I can't comment on that. But shortly after that, a couple of black guys killed a couple of white cops due to the brutality case. And immediately, a lot of white supremacist cats really blew up saying, you know, how dare they kill our cops. And just basically declaring war. Saying that, you know, if you see them in your neighborhood, either shoot them or run. I mean, these dudes, they released like a 30-minute long video talking about all this shit. Just, I was happy to see that no racial slurs were used. I mean, these dudes seemed like they were trying to be, like they were trying to put out a message, but the message they was putting out was a message of hate. And it's like, damn, like, what's going on? It's fucking sad. There's been a bunch of videos that have been coming out of Texas all over YouTube. Look it up. All sorts of shit's been going on. There was one video where, you know, there's a group of people. Exactly where they're at, I don't know, but they're out in the middle of the street. Dude pulls out his cell phone and asks this white lady, "Why'd you call that black dude the N-word?" And she said, "Cause he is." The shit gets really graphic. She says, you know, he ain't nothing but a no good, rotten, da-da-da. And she proceeds to spit on the dude with the camera phone, and he slaps the shit out of her. I was watching the reaction from both sides. And a lot of white people were very glad. The white supremacist people, not white people that actually have brains and hearts. But the white supremacist people, they were very glad that she spit on this dude, and the black supremacist people were very glad that he slapped her. And what I simply said, you know, being somebody that comes from both sides, was that it's equal. You spit on somebody, that's assault. Even the people in the news said, you know, that's assault. So, if you spit on me, I have the right to physically defend myself. And so, in reality, the black guy wasn't in the wrong for slapping her. I am surprised this hasn't made more of a domestic, you know, the whole gender issues we've had recently where guys have been beating up on women. It wasn't about that, and I'm glad that people realize that this wasn't about a man hitting a woman. This is about a black person hitting a white person because the white person spit on him. It made sense. It's not something, I mean, nobody should be spitting on nobody. Nobody should be slapping anybody. But that's where it should end. And that's where it did end. And I hope, I don't know, I hope it didn't go past that.
I mean, topics like this,
yeah,
you already know how I feel. I don't have to say much about it, you know. Wake the fuck up, people.
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, you putting all this energy, all this time into hating somebody you don't even fucking know.
Exactly.
This person could be the coolest person, the sweetest person in the world, the most generous, you know what I mean? Just because this dude's black, or just because this dude's white, or just because this dude's, you know, Japanese, Chinese, Puerto Rican, Mexican, doesn't matter. You know, at the end of the day, guess what, people? They are still a person.
Yeah.
Okay? You can sit there and talk all the shit you want, hang all the flags you want, you know, call, you know, all the racial slurs in the world. I mean, you still don't know that person.
Yeah.
You know?
It's all about people.
I mean, what are your beliefs?
And
you know, if you're a Christian and all this stuff,
yeah,
you can't be a racist.
That's what gets me big. Is there's a lot of racist Christians out there.
I mean, come on. How much sense does that make? Really?
My whole thing is like, let's all try to be Americans and not worry about.
Let's all try to be fucking people.
We are the only country where people with different skin colors still have segregation issues.
Yeah.
Still have equal rights issues.
Mm-hmm.
We're the only country that worries about this shit. Mm-hmm. You know, you can go to any other country and there's people of many different skin tones, but they're all the same nationality. And that's what matters to them. You know, the first time I met a black British guy, it threw me off. But then I realized, oh yeah, there probably are black guys that live in England.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're not even considered to be black English guys. They don't call them African Englishes or whatever. They're Englishmen.
Yeah.
They're from England.
Yeah.
They're British.
Yeah.
And that's what they are.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Lennox Lewis.
No, we are the only country that focuses on this shit to an extent. If we took every resource we had, every man, woman, and child that we had, and united as a country, we would be the most powerful country on the planet.
Right.
And it's so hard to think that, like, you know, if the whole country was like this, if the entire country was split, white people on one side, black people on the other, I wouldn't be here. Realistically. And this is, you know, sooner or later, they're saying 100 years in the future, the entire population of the planet is going to be mulatto. The entire population. It's just going to happen. It's going to be natural. But man, just to see this shit go down, there's a graphic video. When I say graphic, I mean audio graphic of this 7-year-old just going off, talking to this grown black guy and his mulatto daughter, calling her racial slurs, calling him racial slurs, telling him he doesn't work because he's black and he needs to get hung on a rope. And it's like, damn, where is this coming from? You know, obviously this is being taught.
Obviously.
You know, I always say when I was a kid, I was very confused. I knew my dad was black. I knew I was white. I didn't understand why. When I went to school, kids that knew each other hung out with each other. My first day of school, all the black kids was in the corner with each other. More than likely it's because they knew each other. I didn't know this. I remember wanting to hang out with everybody. You know, I wanted to know every kid in the school. And when I approached the black kids, they wasn't really nice to me. So I went home that day thinking, wow, black people are mean. And I didn't realize what I was thinking. Now, I never had no racial slurs in my head because I wasn't taught that stuff. Obviously, I live with a black dad, so it was natural. But for a split moment in my life, there was a time where I didn't like these black people because they were mean to me. When I realized that some of the black kids in school were actually really nice, that all changed immediately. It just happened to be that there was a group of people that were mean. That, you know, and that's what it's all about. Everybody's different. Just because some people are mean doesn't mean they're all mean. As a little kid, that was something that happened to me naturally. Okay, you know, and I had to realize, okay, not all black people are mean. And when I became a middle schooler is when I started to realize, you know, I am half black. And I really started to have pride in, you know, that part of me. Because for the most part, up until I was in middle school, I just considered myself to be another white kid. And, you know, I knew my dad was black, but it never hit me that. Because my dad is black, you know, part of him is always in me. I'm half black. It never hit me. And most of my friends in school see me as a white kid. I had a lot of black friends. I had a lot of white friends. It didn't make any difference to me. I was just another, you know, normal kid. And that's how it was. And that's the way it should be. You know, it's sad to think that, like, this kid is in a classroom. This 7-year-old kid is in a classroom with somebody. Probably right now. With these thoughts in his head. Interesting enough, I didn't talk to you about it before, but I did find a video about this white man speaking up. He says he's a former racist, but that he has changed his ways. And anybody can do it. Anybody can. This dude came out and said, listen, I used to be a white supremacist dude. I hated black people. I called him every name you could call him. I didn't like him. Then he came out and said, I met some black people that were nice, and it changed the way I thought. And he started realizing that his thoughts were wrong. What he was taught as a kid, what he thought was the right thing, was actually wrong. And he came out and he gave this entire speech about why white supremacists are afraid of black people. And he included that white people are afraid to lose, not necessarily all white people, the white supremacists are scared to lose their power. They get certain benefits. And I've always said it before, I'm blessed that as a half black, half white kid that I came out white because I live in a country where that's beneficial. And it is true. I don't hide it. And that white supremacists fear black vengeance. He stated that, black people that are prejudiced against white people, the black racists, black supremacists that have these feelings against white people, their anger is generated and is produced by the white racism. By the fact that these white supremacists, in other words, what this dude is saying is, in reality, most black people are nice. They know. Most black people are raised knowing what's going on in the world. And that you don't become a racist for no reason. And that if the white supremacists stop being so racist, the black people would probably go along with it. And we could all just be one happy country. One thing I will say, I don't want to offend anybody that lives in Texas. If you do live in Texas and you watch, I'm really sorry about what's going on down there. We don't hope to offend anybody. And really, the solution right now is speaking up about it. Talking about it. Trying to get to the root of the issue. That's really what it's about. Like I said, it's not something that we necessarily want to talk about. These controversial topics, there's a little bit of uneasiness going on, but it's our responsibility to bring that to y'all. And yeah, I mean, there's an entire state right now that's having some serious problems.
Crazy.
That's that.
Well, with that being said, there's got to be some kind of, there'll never be a solution, but hopefully this shit can die down somewhat. I mean,
yeah,
it seems like it's getting worse and worse,
in recent time, yeah.